Genocides have been a black stain on the history of humanity and are devastating and unforgiving. Today, this documentary is focusing on one of the darkest and deadliest genocides the world has ever experienced. The Cambodian genocide was a tragic era between the years of 1975 to 1979. The nation of Cambodia will always remember the atrocities that happened, but what sticks in the minds of most people are the deaths of 1.5 to 2 million people. The central figure and despot leader of the Cambodian genocide was Pol Pot. Pol Pot and his associates created a party by the name of Khmer Rouge. Khmer Rouge was a brutal regime that ruled Cambodia. Pol Pot was aiming to replicate the communist regime of China. The Cambodian genocide first started through Khmer Rouge fighters invading Phnom Penh and forcibly taking over the city. A violent civil war broke out and the Khmer Rouge had won it. This is vividly expressed through Source 1. Khmer Rouge were now the rulers of the country. Notably, the Khmer Rouge decided not to let the former leader, Prince Norodom, rule the country, but instead handed the power to the leader of Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. Prince Norodom was forced to leave. Pol Pot aimed to ultimately transform Cambodia into a master race through strict communist social arrangements. These communist arrangements influenced and altered activities like agriculture. Tribes in Cambodia were self-sufficient and lived on the goods they produced through consistent farming of crops and livestock. The communist societies constructed communes that worked together, shared in the spoils of their labor, and were untainted by the evils of money, wealth, and religion. Anyone who attempted to resist the communist ideal was slaughtered, and the results were catastrophic. As stated previously, between 1.5 to 2 million people died during it. Key reasons for these deaths were because of either execution and torture as enemies of the regime, or died from starvation, disease, or overwork. Source 2 is a story by a survivor named Kim Sol. This story truly demonstrates the exhausting impacts that he had to endure. To truly understand a genocide, you must be aware of the 10 key stages of genocide. Today I'll refer to classification, discrimination, dehumanization, and extermination. Classification is the stage of genocide in which people separate themselves into two different groups. In the Cambodian genocide, this was most likely when the Khmer Rouge began to arrest people they thought they were working against them. Discrimination refers to the law when laws are passed which violate the rights of certain groups of citizens. This can be applied for the 4-year plan, where the Khmer Rouge made citizens give up all of their possessions and for common use. Dehumanization is when the group is no longer seen as human. This occurred when Khmer Rouge forced people to work long hours with insufficient nourishment, or when soldiers would take babies with their mamas and brutally bash them against trees to kill them. Presented in Source 3, which illustrates the tree in which babies were bashed and killed. These actions would not have been committed if Khmer Rouge saw the Cambodians as equal. And finally, extermination happens when the victims are no longer seen as human, and the perpetrators become pest control. This was the horrific killing of the Cambodian people and their families. However, the evil regime eventually came to an end. The Vietnamese army invaded Cambodia in 1979 and removed Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge from power. Over the decades since the fall of Khmer Rouge, Cambodia has gradually re-established ties with the world, although the country still faces problems, including widespread poverty and illiteracy. Prince Norodom returned to govern Cambodia in 1993, although he now rules under constitutional monarchy. As illustrated in Source 4, the former dictator Pol Pot died while in house arrest in a jungle home. The stories of the suffering of the Cambodian people at the hands of Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge have garnered the world and will forever be remembered for its atrocities.